And I'm up. Okay, have you ever done something really stupid? And well, today I told myself at 4 o'clock I was gonna stop recording, and I was going to, or just gonna stop playing Minecraft, and I was gonna do this. Well, I have 15 minutes before I leave, and so I'm just gonna read really fast. I'm starting out in Ecclesiastes, and I'm gonna be reading 1 through 4. So, starting out in chapter 1, talking as fast as possible. Everything is futile. The words of the teacher, son of David, King of Jerusalem. Absolute futility, says the teacher. Absolute futility. Everything is futile. What does a person gain for all his efforts, what labors under the sun? A generation goes and generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and sun sets, panting, it returns to the place where it rises. Gusting to the south, turning to the north, turning goes the wind. And the land returns to cycles, and all streams flow to the sea. Yet the sea is never full. To the place where streams flow, there all things flow again. All things are worth more than any that one can say. The eye is not satisfied by seeing, the ear filled with the hearing. That's been what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. There is nothing new under the sun. Can one say about anything? Look, this is new. It has already existed ages before us. There is no remembrance of those who came before, and those who will come after. There will also be no remembrance of those who follow. The limitations of wisdom. I, the teacher, have been king over Israel and Jerusalem. I have applied my mind to examine and explore through the wisdom and all has done under the heaven. God has given people this task of keeping them occupied. I have seen all things that are done under the sun and have found everything to be futile, a pursuit of the wind. What is crooked cannot be strained, what is lacking cannot be counted. I said to myself, see, I have amassed wisdom far beyond those who were over Jerusalem before me, and my mind has thoroughly grasped wisdom and knowledge. I applied my mind to know wisdom and knowledge from madness and folly. I learned this is too a pursuit of the wind, for much wisdom is sorrow, as knowledge increases, grief increases. Chapter 2, Emptiness and Pleasure. I said to myself, go ahead, I'll test you with pleasure, enjoy what's good, but it turned out to be futile. I said about laughing matter. It's just madness and pleasure. What does this accomplish? I explore with my mind to the pull of one on my body. My mind will guide me into wisdom and how grasp folly until I can see what's good for the people under the heaven during a few days of their lives. Emptiness of possessions. The emptiness of possessions. I increased my achievements. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. I made gardens for the parks and for myself and planted every kind of fruit and tree in them. I constructed reservoirs for myself, which irrigate, grow, flourish, and trees. I acquire male and female servants and slaves who are born in my house, and also I own livestock, large herds, and flocks, and more than all who were before me in Jerusalem. I also amassed silver and gold for myself and the treasure of the kings and provinces. I gathered male and female seniors for myself, and my concubines and delighted men. So I became great and surpassed all who were before me in Jerusalem. My wisdom also remained with me. All my eyes had desired, I did not deny them. I did not refuse myself any pleasure. I took pleasure for all my struggles. This is my reward for all the struggles, and I considered all that I accomplished and what I labored to achieve. I found everything futile and pursued in the wind. There was nothing to gain in the sun. The relative value of wisdom. Then I returned to consider wisdom, madness, and folly. For what did the king's successor be like? And he would do what's already been done. And I realized that the advantage of wisdom over folly, like the advantage of light over darkness. A wise person has eyes in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I also knew that one fate comes to both. So I said to myself, what happens to the fool also that to me? Why then have I been over wise? And I said to myself, this is also futile. For just like the fool, there is no lasting remembrance of wise, since the days to become both will be forgotten. How is that the wise person dies just like the fool? Therefore I hated life, because those work has done under the sun is distressing to me. For everything is futile in pursuit of the wind. The emptiness of work. I hated all my work that I labored under the sun, because I must leave it to the one who comes after me. And who knows whether he'll be a wise or a fool. Yet he'll take over all my work that I've labored skillfully under the sun. This is too futile. So I began to give myself over to despair concerning all my work that I labored under the sun. When there is a person whose work be done with wisdom, knowledge, and skill, he must not give his portion to a person who has not worked for it. This is too futile and great wrong. For what does a person get with all the work and efforts that he labored in the sun? For all his days are filled with grief, and his occupation is sorrowful. Even at night his mind does not rest. This is too futile. There is nothing better for a person to eat, drink, and enjoy his work. I have seen that this is God's time, because who can eat and enjoy life apart from him? For the person who pleases inside, but he gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy, but no sinner he gives the task of gathering, accumulating, or to get the one who is pleasuring God's sight. It's too futile in pursuit of the wind. Chapter 3, halfway through. If this thing cuts off, that means I have to continue it later today, so this will be part 1. Chapter 3, the mystery of time. There is an occasion occasion for everything and time for every activity under heaven. Time to give birth and time to die, time to plant, time to root, time to kill and time to heal, time to tear down, time to build, time to weep and time to laugh, time to mourn, time to dance, time to throw stones and time to gather stones, time to embrace with time to avoid embracing, time to search and time to count the loss, a time to keep away, time to throw away, a time to tear and time to sow, time to be silent, time to speak, a time to love and time to hate, time for war and time for peace. What is work gained from struggles? I have seen the task that God's given the children of Adam to keep them occupied. He's made everything appropriate in his time, but he's also put eternity in their hearts. But no one can discover the work God has done from the beginning to end. Know that there is nothing better for them to rejoice and enjoy a good life. It's also to get to God. Whenever anyone eats, drinks, enjoys all his efforts, I know everything God does will last forever. There's no adding to it or taking away from it. God's works so that people in all of them, whatever it is, he has already been, or whatever it will be, already is. However, God sees justice for the persecuted. He must save injustice and death. Also observed and understand there is wickedness in the place of judgment, and there is wickedness in the place of righteousness. I say to myself, God will judge the righteous of the wicked, since there is time for every activity and every work. I said to myself, this happens so that God may test the children of Adam, and they may see for themselves that they are like animals, for the fate of the children of Adam and the fate of the animals are the same. As one dies, so does the other. They all have the same breath, since people have no advantage over animals, since everything is all futile. All are going to the same place, all are come from dust, and all return to dust. Who knows the spirits of children of Adam go upwards, and the spirits of animals go downward to the earth. I've seen that there is nothing better for a person to enjoy than his activities, because that is his reward. For who can enable him to see what has happened after he dies? Chapter 4. Final chapter for today. Again, I observed all the acts of oppression because this time is son. Look at the tears of those who are oppressed. They have no one to comfort them. Power is with those who oppress them, so I have no one to comfort them. So I commanded the dead who have already died, more than the living who are still alive. But better than either of them is the one who has not yet existed, who has not seen the evil activity of the sun or the sun. Loneliness of wealth. I saw all labor and skillful work that's due to one person, jealousy to another. This too futile in pursuit of the wind. The fool folds his arms and it consumes his own flesh. Better the one handful of rest than two handfuls with effort in pursuit of the wind. Again, self-utility under the sun. There is a person without a companion, with no even a son or a brother. And though there is no one to end all his struggles, his eyes are still not content with riches. Who am I struggling for? He asks, surprising myself for good things. This too futile and miserable task. Two are better than one because they have good reward for their efforts. For either falls his companion can lift him up, but pity the one who falls without anger to lift him up. Also, to lie down together they can keep warm, but how can one person alone keep warm? And if someone overpowers one person, two can resist them. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. Better is a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king, who no longer pays attention to warnings. For he came from prison to be king, even though he was born poor to his kingdom. I saw all the living who move about under the sun follow a second youth who succeeds him. There's no limit to all the people who are before them, yet no one comes till you not choice to him. This is too futile in pursuit of the wind. Oh my gosh. Okay, it starts out talking in chapter 1, talking about how I'm pretty sure this is written by Solomon. Maybe. Yeah, traditionally ascribed to Solomon. So it starts about how he's talking about how he thinks everything's futile and like the limitations of having wisdom, and how emptiness of pleasure, how pleasure leads to emptiness, and how possessions can lead to emptiness, and how like wisdom has a relative value, and how the work has emptiness, and how time's such a mystery, and the mystery of injustice and death, and then eventually the loneliness of wealth. So I did that kind of fast, but that is mostly on purpose because those chapters were not super short chapters, and if I was reading normal speed, that'd probably take 20 minutes, but I gotta leave in 3 minutes. So I hope you guys have had a great day so far. Have a great rest of your day. Remember, God loves you, and if this is too fast, I'm sorry. Goodbye.